Welcome, everybody. So this, I think, is about our fifth frequency chat. We're doing them twice a month on Tuesdays, the first and third Tuesday at 3 p.m. They will also be recorded and they'll be put on the training platform. So if you do happen to miss it, you can go back and watch later. Each week we try to cover different things. And my full intention was to get people deeper and deeper into the science of it so that they can understand actually what frequency medicine is. So VibraGenix, once again, for those of you that are new, this is basically the culmination of my life's work. It's been a long journey learning different modalities. And it was my mission or my deepest desire really to make a bridge between traditional, natural, and Eastern medicine, because all three have validity in certain situations. So my core belief ever since I was little is that God created us to self-heal. Why aren't we self-healing? And that led me down path after path after path until I created the VibraGenix system. Not the smartest person in the world. I simply took research from a lot of really smart people and put it in a device that is a better delivery modality than we've ever had before. And so to me, it's the ultimate biohack. And not just because it works on your cells and your energy system, but because of the delivery system, it's all in sound frequencies. Even the vibration that you're moving up and down it is a sine wave. It's very gentle and easy on the body. There's no abrupt up, stop, down, stop. Has an incredible impact on your cells. I've integrated over 1,000 frequency formulas into the software. There's also scalar wave technology that will come forward more and more as it's being developed and promoted, and actually creates 0-point energy, which is a limitless energy source and one of the fastest ways to heal our body. Eastern medicine has been around so much longer than Western medicine, and integrating that into this whole healing system was very, very important to me. And of course, increasing your cell voltage, which is one of the biggest keys to healing. So being the ultimate bridge, I don't need to go through each one of these individually as we did last week, but traditional medicine, there's a series of things that people are familiar with that this machine does a really good job of, circulation, lymphatic, bone density, those sorts of things. Naturopathic medicine is much more holistic in nature. We look at everything in someone's life, their environment, their exposure to toxins, all kinds of things, because we feel like it's not just the systems and organs in the body, it's also the emotional state, it's also who we're around, it's also what we eat, it's also what we drink, it's all of those things. And then the Eastern medicine is primarily focused on clearing the energy body and trauma blocks. And we all get a lot of trauma blocks going through life. It's just a part of life, and it's really important to clear them, because having an energy center blocked leads to all kinds of disorders, dysfunctions, and diseases. And according to Oriental medicine, all disorders, dysfunction, and diseases are the result of simply a chakra, an energy center being blocked. We'll cover that a little bit more in depth a little bit later. I want to do some live training at the end to kind of help you out. But today's focus is the 4 keys to health. So I want to talk about liver health. This is not something a lot of people think about. I want to talk a little bit more about increasing your cell voltage and why that is so important, especially with chronic disease, alkalizing the body, and clearing your energy centers. So let's talk about your liver. Which one is yours? The grumpy one that's really sad and crying, or the happy one? So our liver is like the big filter in our system. So important. It filters everything. It filters everything you eat, everything you drink, all your environmental toxins, fast foods, prescription foods, and even your supplements. So a lot of times we're trying to make our body healthier by taking all these supplements. We read about this and we read about that, and we inundate our system with so many supplements that your liver still has to process and break those down. But so your liver can get really toxic, even with natural things, when you have the best of intention, or eating the wrong kind of foods, or eating even the right kind of foods, but too much of them can cause liver toxicity. And I've done this, I've been responsible for doing this for myself. You think, well, if I don't feel good, I need to take this supplement, or I must be deficient in this. And this is where our education and our reading and all that gets in the way, because we start adding and adding and adding, and all of a sudden we realize we're taking a handful of supplements 2 or 3 times a day. And it's still too much for the liver when it's having to deal with environmental toxins and other factors. So really important, even with the foods you eat. I think my latest little trek here personally was with really trying to alkalinize my body, make sure I wasn't going back into colon cancer, and staying away from all the acidifying things and eating too much tuna. So tuna is the second highest thing in mercury. Swordfish is the highest. And you can still put your body behind, even taking, over the counter things like acetaminophen. We all know that's really hard on the liver, but so are NSAIDs. So are things like ibuprofen and Motrin. They're really hard on the liver and can actually cause some scarring, which is like cirrhosis. So what are the symptoms of having a toxic liver? Fatigue. Lots and lots of people have that. Brain fog, lethargy, headaches, especially frequent headaches, inability to lose weight. People that get stuck with their weight loss program, and I have the weight loss protocol on the training platform, people that get stuck and can't lose weight tend to have a toxic liver. So your liver is always trying to help you. It's always trying to keep you safe. And if it can't keep up on detoxifying, what it's going to take, what it's going to do is take all of those toxins, develop a new fat cell, and put the toxins inside the fat cell. That's why people, when they lose weight too fast, can actually end up getting sick, because it's releasing those toxins back in the system that the liver still isn't able to keep up with. So really important for supporting the liver and clearing it out. So toxic hepatitis is more common than you think. So it's just inflammation in the liver because it can't keep up. A lot of people that take way too many supplements have rashes and psoriasis and skin disorders. Sometimes just from other toxins in the liver, you can get breakouts like when you were a teenager. Abdominal pain, we have a lot less pain receptors in our abdomen, so it can be where the liver is, up underneath the right side of your ribs, or it can be someplace else in the abdomen. Cirrhosis of the liver, really interesting. Most people think that cirrhosis is easy to detect, but there's usually not any symptoms until this liver is 80% cirrhosed. So really important to take care of it a lot sooner in the game. Most people think my liver's fine, I don't have jaundice. They think of that as the flagship symptom. It is very severe when you have jaundice. The solutions: careful with your intake, what you're putting in your body, what you drink, what you eat, what you think. I think all of those things from an energetic standpoint really affect the liver. Milk thistle is the only herb that I know of that actually rebuilds liver tissue. It's the active ingredient in milk thistle. So I actually know people that drink quite a bit, take quite a bit of milk thistle to kind of balance it out. The frequencies in our technology that are really good for the liver is there's frequencies for liver enlargement and liver support. So there's also frequencies for mercury toxicity. Mercury toxicity is a pretty big deal with a lot of people that have had amalgam fillings or have had a lot of exposure or eat a lot of tuna, swordfish, anything like that. So you can run those frequencies, hepatitis, those frequencies in there as well. And if your toxic overload is due to chemicals in your environment, like pesticides, herbicides, things like that, there's a chemical detox button that works really well as well. So I want to talk a little bit more in depth about cell voltage. So this is Otto Warburg. He won his Nobel Prize for his work in cell voltage, and he actually started working with cancer patients. And what he came to find out is cancer patients had a cell voltage of about negative 15 millivolts. So you see in this upper slide where all the cells are clumped together and changed through a Rugel effect. And what happens then is they can't bring in oxygen, and cancer thrives in a low oxygen environment and an acidic environment. So when your cell voltage is this low, you can't have enough surface area to get enough oxygen in for the cell to start healing itself. So before and after just 10 minutes on sonic whole body vibration, your cells will regain enough cell voltage to push apart from each other. And his theory was that if you get your cell voltage negative 70 to negative 90 millivolts, that the body turns into a spontaneous healing machine. And that's exactly what you want to do. Another thing that helps with this is a scalar wave technology that's actually in the machine. So really important, even with other chronic diseases. I've seen long haul COVID. I've seen a lot of things that are chronic long-term. And if you do a live blood cell analysis, this is exactly what their blood cells look like. So these are the people that when you get on the technology, they feel so much better, so fast. Because that cell voltage was so low, any bump in it gives it more surface area. Once that cell has more surface area, it has a sodium potassium pump that brings in more oxygen and nutrients and gets rid of waste products. And then it can finally start healing itself. But if you don't keep your cell voltage high enough, and his theory was that most people that he tested that were not sick, but average people had a negative 50 millivolt. People that were negative 35 were the ones that got all the colds and all the flus and everything that came along. So really important for your cells to be able to heal themselves and get healthy to start resisting other diseases. And especially with, 2 or 3 years of coronavirus going around, that's something we really, really want to pay attention to. Your pH is another really, really, really important key. A lot of diseases cannot live in an alkaline environment. So you want to keep your urine pH between 7.5, 8 if you're fighting cancer. And there's these little strips I put here at the bottom. You can order them off Amazon. They are not expensive. I test my urine pH at least 3 to 4 times a week just to make sure I'm staying in that healthy range. This active pH, I always try things on myself first. And this active pH is a good product. It is sodium bicarbonate, potassium bicarbonate, and magnesium bicarbonate. It doesn't taste bad. You can put it in water, put it in juice, do it once a day. And if you don't have cancer, it should bring your pH back to where it's supposed to be. But if you do have cancer, you're going to have to take it a step further. Either do this product 3 times a day or just get some sodium bicarbonate, potassium bicarbonate, and mix them together. That's what I did to get well. And I did that 3 times a day. And the reason is when cancer attacks a cell, it forms an acidic ash. So it's not just your diet. It's just not just your intake. It is a full out war to alkalinize your system. I mean, you really have to counteract it. But if you can get your urine pH to 8 and keep there, the cancer in your body will die. It can't live. It just can't live in an acidic or alkaline environment. So being over acid also leads to a lot of other things. A lot of different kind of parasites actually thrive in acidic environment. It's one of the main causes of osteoporosis. It definitely depresses your immune system. It gives you chronic digestive problems, can lead to lupus, arthritis, a really big thing with being over acid, especially rheumatoid arthritis and joint and ligament problems. Kidney stones is another big thing. Kidney stones and gout and kidney insufficiencies, heart and circulation issues, fungal and bacterial infections, high blood pressure, and once again, cancer. High acid, low oxygen is the perfect formula for cancer. And I get calls from practitioners all the time, and there is more and more escalation in cancer rates, different kinds of cancer with people coming in. Okay, so avoiding acidifying foods. So you have your meat, sugar, alcohol, and emotional stress. So emotional stress is probably the hardest one to really control. I mean, you have to do a lot of meditation, a lot of centering, some frequencies on the machine for that. There's frequencies for depression and fatigue and mood elevation, that sort of thing, and stress relief, just managing the stresses in life. But definitely checking your pH frequently, either using that other product I just showed you with the sodium, potassium, magnesium bicarbonate, or just mixing the two. Ginger is the most alkalizing food you can eat, lots of vegetables, and lemon in your water. So clearing your energy centers, this is really, really, really important. And I honestly think if everybody could do these 3 panels plus 2 other things that they really like, they could eliminate so many things in their body as long as they're alkalinizing everything. So the ancient tone's been around forever. And there's, liberation of guilt and fear is a big thing. A lot of people have it. And it's emotional cause that leads to disorder, dysfunction, disease in the body. Undoing situations and facilitating change, that's important too. Connections and relationships. And probably the most important is transformation and miracles. And that's frequency 528 that they researched at Stanford and UCLA and found out that it actually repairs DNA. So NASA actually uses it with all their cosmonauts. The other one is TBSW generator, and I want to do a little bit of training because I've had a lot of questions on how this works. So TBSW is trilateral balanced sine wave. Most people are familiar with binaural beats, but they're not familiar with trilateral. So there's actually a tone for the base brain or midbrain that's very important. And the scalar wave technology is found in this program. It's this blue button that's lit up right here. You just simply go through the tumbler. Rejuvenation is a great one because it already contains 528. Set your time, turn on scalar waves, and push start. But there are a lot of others. there's, intuition, there's tremors, Alzheimer's, all kinds of different frequency panels you can use. I recommend using scalar wave technology every day because it is one of the fastest ways outside of being on the machine to get your cell voltage up. And that is absolutely key to be a self-healing machine, which is exactly what I want to be. I think all of us do. The other one that I think people should use every day is chakra balancing. Now, I used to recommend that people not do more than 4 at a time. And the crossing point's the heart. So I'd have them do the lower 4, the upper 4. And the reason I went that direction is because a lot of people have been through a lot of trauma and they store it in their energy center and it moves so much of that energy so fast. But I've kind of gotten past that. And on a lot of people, especially people that meditate more, that are a little bit more advanced as far as energy and balancing and clearing and all of that, I definitely run all of them at the same time. And the reason is, if you look, this is the chakra balancing out of TBSW. I'm sorry, out of Cell Tunes. And this is a quick, easy program. And if you look at all the words on this side, it will tell you all the chronic mental, emotional, and physical problems that go along with that particular chakra being closed. And this is ancient stuff. And it really, really works. Anytime I ever had a patient that was stuck and I couldn't get through a certain problem with traditional treatments or traditional frequencies, I would always reference that condition in this list. So back to you are frequency. So your most basic building block is the atom. And it has the proton and neutrons, with electrons flying around this nucleus almost at the speed of light. And that is what we're made of. So ultimately, we are energy. We are flesh and blood. And I don't know, as some people would say, a meat sack, but we're so much more than that. And in my mind, my logical mind went to the point where, okay, we are frequency. Why aren't we using frequency as the medicine to treat the body? And that's kind of how all this came together. So Eastern medicine, this is one of my favorite pictures. I try to put it in as frequently as I can and talk to people as frequently as I can. This is the actual energy field of the body. So you have the chakras going down the center. You have this big toroidal field of energy that's spinning around the body that extends way past the body. And this is quantum physicists have isolated this, and they said it exists around all living things, even around the earth. And it spirals around and up and through the center of the being, whatever it's circling around. And you are constantly emitting information. It can be emotional information, mental information, physical information, light, subtle energy, all kinds of things. And you're constantly bringing those in. And this is another thing to think about too with the people you're around, because you're always exchanging information with that person. And some people, I've had patients before that were really healthy, well, and thriving until they got into the wrong relationship. And then it went completely the other way and they got very physically ill. So something important to remember, there's also another spiral of energy that comes down from source right through us and right into the earth and back. And all of this energy, either from the toroidal field or coming down from source into the earth, is going through our energy centers. So if we have a trauma block here, it's going to cause a distortion in that field. And that's what the Oriental medicine believes is the cause of all disorder, dysfunction, and disease. So really important to keep this in mind and constantly clear your field, especially if you're around a lot of people, and especially if you're a healer. So again, liver health, so important. Cellular voltage, so important. Alkalinize your body and clearing your energy field. I mean, your health really is your wealth. You can spend your whole life trying to get to wealth and ignore your health, and then you spend all your wealth trying to get your health back. That's kind of the way the cycle works with a whole lot of people, way more than it should. But if you really pay attention to those 4 things, I see really rapid transformation in people. I don't think you can just pick frequencies or just pick a certain supplement or just pick one thing without doing the others together. But the rapidness of the healing in the body when you put these 4 things together is phenomenal. I wanted to tell you about our accelerator unit. It is brand newly released. And we have upgraded the brand new system to have Bluetooth to speaker, Bluetooth to the cell
Energy.
exciters. And then we have headphones as well. They are not Bluetooth because I know a lot of people don't really like Bluetooth. So they are not Bluetooth, but all of our software that's in this system is also in this accelerator system. And it comes in a really nice travel bag that's wheeled. You can take it with you anywhere you go. If you have a practice or an office, you can set it up in another room. You can take it home. You can run the scalar wave technology, the ancient tones, all of that while you're sleeping. You can run the deep sleep and insomnia frequencies while you're sleeping. All of that can be set to run on a continual basis. So if you have any questions or you want more information, there is this QR code here you can scan. It takes you to all of our social media, more podcasts, more frequency chats, all kinds of information on the web. So, or you can call the number or send an email to info and we'll let you know what the specials are, the introductory specials on the new unit. All right. Can you guys all see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the Cell Tunes program. You have your fast presets. These are 80 of the common fast presets. If you think of Cell Tunes as just being a smaller version of Pro, Pro has 700 fast presets. It'll kind of help you wrap your mind around why there's two systems. This system was the first system that we came out with. It is more concise. It's a smaller program. It's easier for a lot of people to use that aren't real computer techie. So we have kept it. So this is the TBSW program I was telling you about. And you can just scroll through this wheel and it will auto-populate the numbers down here that are the base frequency, the frequency for the left and right hemispheres, and then you can turn scalar waves on. So there's different things that you can pick in here: energy boost, chronic fatigue, general healing, intuition. You just set your timer and then you hit start. So on your chakra balancing, this is a very easy program to use as well. And this is where you just scroll through and you read the different mental, emotional, and physical chronic issues that go along with that center being blocked. And really important to get those centers open. So lung and breast cancers, heart chakra. And this is really old stuff. This is from the Vedas. It's documented. I think it works really well. And I know in Chinese medicine, they always address the emotional issues underneath if you have any kind of cancer. So, and these are the other symptoms that go along with it. So if you're dealing with different addictions or problems, it's really important to get your chakras cleared out. Lower back pain, the root chakra, that kind of thing. Just get yourself really familiar with these. And then the ancient tones, I usually always use them out of Cell Tunes, and I run these on literally everyone. I want to open True Resonance a little bit here so I can show you the difference.
All these programs are in there. And
yeah, these programs are all in the machine and they're on the laptop. So if you get the accelerator, you'll have them all too. So there's over 700 frequencies in here, really easy to use. You can just click on something, whatever it is. You can even save it as a user preset and type in the name of it. And then you hit save. We didn't save it anything at that point, but the next time you go in and you hit load user preset, it's right there. The TPSW program is bigger here. So you actually, if you're into more of the energetic kind of things, you'll enjoy this one the most because it has mind expansion, psychic enhancement, that kind of thing. The deep sleep, dream sleep, those are really, really effective. This is the one you'll find Alzheimer's in. And the one for tremors is for benign tremors. Great program. If you find two you love, you can write down the frequencies and then program them into this system and save it. But always remember to start the scalar wave generator because that is your tachyon energy, 0 point energy, fastest way to get the cell voltage up. Chakra tools, I love this one the most because it has ethereal cleanse. So that's not just the physical body. That is also the emotional, mental, and spiritual body. So if you think back to that picture with the whole toroidal field of energy, it clears everything. And if you want to know what's associated with that center being blocked, you just hover over this and it will give you all the things in there. And I usually run all of those at the same time. This is another ancient tones as well. So if people can just run those 3 programs and then add in 2 other things they're working on, at least every other time they use the machine, things will start to resolve, especially if you really take care of starting to detoxify your liver. And I just can't stress this enough with people trying to help themselves so much that they're inundating their liver with so many supplements that it just can't keep up. It needs a break. So really important to think of that. And then the pH, the cell voltage, which is epically important in the body healing itself. And then putting these 3 frequency panels into your setup often. And I think you'll get some great results. Any questions from anyone? You can unmute yourself if you have questions.
Hi, Carolyn. This is Dina.
Hi.
Hi. So the classes, I was wondering, I know that we can go back and we can watch these on our own time, correct?
Correct. They'll all
Okay.
be on the training platform.
And then we can email other questions that we have.
And
Okay.
you can even email questions for next time we have the frequency chat if you want them answered there, or just email them in and you'll get them answered there.
Okay, great. And you were, the last time I spoke to you over the phone, you were looking at an open house weekend. Have you scheduled one of those?
We have just scheduled a fly-in, so people can come or drive or whatever.
13 to 15.
October 13th through 15th. If someone wants to come sooner, they can. But we're going to try and do a big group session and have, 20 machines ready to go, do a presentation, and let everybody experience everything and get more in-depth training.
Okay. And what are the hours of that? Is that all day long?
No, so it's going to be in the evening on Friday. We're going to have whenever people can get here. So
Gotcha.
we're going to have a session in the evening. It'll probably go until 7, maybe start at 4 o'clock on Friday. Then the next morning, we're going to come back from from 8 a.m. to noon. And then people can have lunch. And then at 3 o'clock, we'll get back together if people want to come back or if they want to explore wine country or whatever, and probably be here till 7 at night. And then on Sunday, we'll be here as long as people until they leave. Make sure everybody's trained and has all their questions answered. Makes such a difference when you get training.
So I had a couple of questions. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. That's one of my questions.
Okay.
So how long does the cell voltage stay elevated after a session?
Okay. So that all depends on your cell voltage at the time. So people that have an extremely low, like they have cancer, their cell voltage is at negative 15 millivolts, they're going to feel a big energy bump. But because they have a disease that's breaking down their cells or keeping them at that low voltage, they're going to have to be a lot more stringent or consistent about staying on the technology. But once you're like you're healthy.
Well, right now, not. You can hear me coughing, but yes.
Oh, you got that cold that's going around?
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it seems like everybody has it. So there are coronavirus SARS frequencies, which actually are the frequencies for the very first cold. I recommend everybody be running them right now because there is a whole other wave that's coming through, and it's not something people are bouncing back from quickly. It is in pro. There's also immune system stimulation. So a lot of people aren't even thinking, they're not even that mindset that they have coronavirus. And if they do test, they test positive. It's just a different variant. It comes across like the common cold. It seems to have a few more symptoms and it seems to be more contagious than any of the other ones before. So, but it kind of has a lot of, headache, body ache. You just don't feel quite right. So, and a cough.
Yeah. So I've had a cough and a little bit of a tiny little headache, like not one that you're going to take medicine for, but I did get on. I haven't done the immune system stimulation. Did you say it is under cold or COVID or SARS?
So no, there is coronavirus SARS.
Okay.
And then there is immune system stimulation, and they are both in pro. So you'll have to open True Resonance Pro twice.
Okay.
And run that. And then there's frequencies for headaches too, if you need.
Okay. So when you show that the blood cell picture, what exactly am I looking at? Like, I know that like when it's all clumped together, that's not good, but when it's all separated, when I'm trying to explain that to people, I'm like, oh, there's happy cells and there's not happy cells. That doesn't sound very scientific.
No, it doesn't. So your cells exchange They bring in nutrients, they get rid of waste products through these sodium potassium pumps that are on the cell. The cell has an overall negative charge, right? So a healthy cell has a more negative charge, -70 to -90 millivolts. When that cell is healthy and the cell voltage is up in that range, those cells push way away from each other. So they have all this surface area to bring in oxygen, nutrients, get rid of waste products, and those healthy cells resist disease. But when your cell voltage is very, very low, it is almost impossible for your cells to resist anything. That's why people get colds and flus, and you have to really watch your immune system if you do have something like cancer, who you're around and that sort of thing, because your cell voltage is low and your cells just can't defend themselves.
Okay.
So pushing apart is because negative and negative repels and the energy's up in the cells. And that's what you want. You want them to be as far apart as they can be, and still function well, so that there's lots of surface area.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally makes sense. I
Okay.
just didn't know how to explain it, but now how you say that, like, it totally makes sense. Okay, so I have a few more questions. So if anybody else wants to
Fine.
jump in, I can just
You're
say,
fine.
be quiet, Michelle. What is the difference between weight loss 1 and weight loss 2? Just curious.
So weight loss 1 and weight loss 2 are put together in VibraGenix control. So I would use, you're looking in Cell Tunes, correct? At weight loss 1 and 2. Cell Tunes is the first program, and it has an 8 frequency generator. So there's more than 8 frequencies. So when we made the VibraGenix control, your main panel, all of those frequencies are put into weight loss, along with the frequencies for lipolysis and cavitation that are phase and non-invasive lipo. And I always, for weight loss, put that with mood elevation and stress relief, because those are the reasons we gain weight. The other thing I would do if people are stuck and can't lose weight is definitely liver support.
So on the main, the main thing where it says start session, like you start it first, then you go to Cell Tunes or True Resonance. Is that necessary? Do you have to run that first page to make the whole thing work? Just, yeah.
So the very first page, the low, medium, high, and ultra, do a very specific thing. So that program alone pushes the plate, right?
Okay.
Between 4 and 47 hertz. And in that range, it targets each muscle, each organ, each system in your physical body. And it exercises it or stimulates the cells there. So when it hits 17 hertz, it is targeting the lung tissue. When it hits 9 hertz, it's targeting the liver tissue. Hits 8 hertz, is targeting and bringing back to its resonant frequency, its healthy frequency, the gallbladder. So it goes through a full body program and targets each system, each organ, each muscle group in your body. So that one I feel is very important, because that's where you're getting your lymphatic movement. It's really helping with getting your cell voltage up. Do you have to have it on? No. If you've already done a 20-minute session and you just want to have frequencies playing, you can do that too.
Okay. Okay.
I know Karen does that. She'll do her session and then she turns on ancient tones or chakra balancing and, makes her bed and does her makeup and does the other things. So she's getting more of the frequencies.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, I have 3 questions about protocols, just really quick. For psoriasis, I was thinking, well, there's a psoriasis one. I was thinking chemical detox, inflammation.
Inflammation. You can also run allergies. It all depends on what the root cause is. So I always, with everybody, I try to figure out what the root cause is. There's usually something. It can be a trauma. It can be an exposure to something. I've had as odd of things as spider bites, Lyme's disease, whatever it was. They get bit by a tick, got Lyme's disease, and then all these other things started going wrong in their body. Same thing with spider bites. They had the initial bite, Black Widow, and then all these other things. It's like a domino effect kept happening. So I go back and treat the root cause and the most severe symptoms at the same time. And that just takes a few questions, a little medical history.
Okay. Well, this has been going on. I have a client. It's been going on since 40 years, like 30 years. And she also got, what's that? Oh my gosh, what is that thing that they're trying to vaccinate everybody for? Starts with an S. The bumps. Oh my gosh, I can't think. It's like systemic. And okay.
They're is something they're trying to vaccinate everybody.
Yeah,
from now.
but the tagline is whatever, don't care. So I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, I'll think about it in a second. Okay, so if somebody's had root canals, wisdom teeth pulled, and amalgams, you said something about mercury toxicity, but what about the other two things?
So is this recent?
Well, it's me. It's over my lifetime. I got amalgams like when I was like 10, 12. I've had root canals over the last 10 years, and then my wisdom teeth taken out in college.
Okay. So that could have created some trauma back then. I doubt you have any bacterial infection resulting from that. If it was something recent, there are different settings for different kind of periodontal disease, bacterial infection. I think there's some for toothache, tooth pulling, that kind of thing. But if it's been that long in your past, I wouldn't think that you would need to treat that particular thing unless it was particularly traumatic for you. But if there's any periodontal disease, anything like that going on, there's frequencies that work well for that.
Okay. It's shingles I was thinking of. Shingles.
Oh, shingles. Okay.
Like, and now it starts with an S.
Yes. Yes. So shingles is usually trauma related. There is usually
Okay.
something very emotionally stressful that has happened that is usually a predecessor to that particular condition. And I treat for that. I treat for the shingles. Topically, you can use aloe to help heal it. A lot of stress relief, anxiety frequencies, that sort of thing, depression and inflammation.
Yeah, this was like 20 years ago, 25 years ago, the shingles, but then the psoriasis in tandem with it. I can't remember if the psoriasis came first or after. So
I've seen psoriasis being caused by a lot of different things. So I've even seen it being caused by somebody taking way too many healthy natural supplements. They just, even from really good sources, they just completely inundated their liver and developed psoriasis, some of them head to toe.
so
And it's really,
yeah,
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
It's
So liver would
sometimes
be a good
hard.
thing to do. Yeah.
It's hard to wean people back sometimes, but every human body is different. And a supplement that might be wonderful for one person might be not good for someone else. I've actually had people that are allergic to turmeric. They got well as soon as we took them off turmeric, right?
Yeah, I've heard of
So,
that too with a client or two.
yeah.
Like, it's supposed to be so good for you.
There are also Hilda Clark frequencies in True Resonance Pro. You can actually click a button called Get Clark Frequencies, and it'll take you to her website. And she did a ton of work too. I mean, she and Rife were neck and neck for how much work they did. And you can actually copy and then paste her frequencies into the converter. There's two ways to convert. I usually use the octave algorithm, the Euler's method, and then it will save them right into your program and you can name it as a preset. So I have some people trying to do that for psoriasis, but it's interesting. There's more people that just want a cure than to try and look at or adjust the underlying problem. And I think it's really important, especially with something chronic, to do both.
Well, and this person has been on medication, all sorts of different medications. So it's
Liver
that,
toxicity.
I mean, like, has to sign like releases. Like, I know this could basically kill me, but it'll get rid of my psoriasis, thing. And so it's not.
So I would look at liver toxicity and detoxify.
Okay, that's what I just wrote that down too. Okay.
Yeah.
And last thing, I have a client with Parkinson's, and she's pretty far down the road. She came to me wanting to change her diet, but she's just like a sugar addict and carbohydrate addict, and she just but I don't know, could this be helpful? I mean, obviously
so there are Parkinson's frequencies. It's really difficult when you don't change the lifestyle to have a massive impact. And then the other thing I would just caution you on is just make sure that the diagnosis was correct, because it is a very strong trend in the medical industry if we see somebody with tremors to just go, you have Parkinson's, without doing any kind of medical testing to back that up. So if the only reason I say that is I had someone recently and I was told he had Parkinson's, and I did the Parkinson's protocol with the tremors, that we did all of it. And he got worse and worse and worse on the first session. So I sat down with him and I says, you don't have Parkinson's, because that goes the other way. When you have a Parkinson's patient and you get them on the machine and set the right frequencies, they will calm, just completely calm. They have almost no tremors when they're done. And that's first session usually. So I sat down with him and I said, how are you diagnosed? He goes, well, I went and saw two neurologist, and they walked in the room and, said, oh, you have the big shakes, you have Parkinson's. I said, they tested anything? And he said, no. And, but all the other doctors he went to said, no, I don't think you have Parkinson's. This is something different. And it turned out there was a lot of chemical exposure. So a lot of pesticides, herbicides, I mean, to the point of hospitalization, that kind of chemical exposure.
Gotcha.
And that was kind of the predecessor, it's the underlying effect that starts really wreaking havoc with the nervous system.
Yeah.
So
And that's probably very like locational, like where you are geographically too.
yeah, just doing a little medical history, just a little background.
Okay. All right. I'm done asking. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Anybody else?
Carolyn?
Yes.
Yeah, real quick. Hi, dear.
Hi.
Can you just call out maybe 3, since your focus was heavily on the liver, can you kind of throw out like 3 liver protocols that is just universally good for everybody?
I think liver support is good for everybody. And if you've had amalgam fillings, I would definitely do some of the mercury toxicity. Liver enlargement is another good one, but hepatitis is kind of the same thing, right in that realm. And then chemical detox. Anyone else? How's it going, Brian? Nothing for me this week.
Sorry, I was not. No, nothing. My mind's in a lot of different places, and I'm seeing patients today anyway. So
I was hoping you had another great story for us. You have some good ones.
yes,
No, I love hearing stories of how people are helped. So I love seeing it even more.
well, yeah, hopefully I'll have something soon, but for now, no.
All right. I'm sure we're all crazy busy today. First day back at work after the weekend. So yeah, but take care of that filter, everybody. The liver, really important. You change the filter in everything else, in your car, in your coffee machine, in your house, in your air filter, everything. We change every filter, but we can't change that one. And that is the master filter of our system. So I think it's something that's really overlooked by a lot of people. And if I could get people to really pay attention to what you're putting in your body, even when you think what you're putting in your body is what you need. Sometimes we go too far, more than what our liver can handle. And even with natural supplementation, there are a lot of supplements that are just like pharmaceuticals. You put them together, you get a third effect. So there's some of them that you really can't take together. You can't take close together. Some you need to take with food, some of them without food. And when we just, fill up our coffee cup full of vitamins and think we're doing something that's helping our body, sometimes we're taking it the other direction and just need to give our liver a break. I kind of try to get, when I have patients, I usually get patients once they're down the line, I had gone to many, many people, and they come in with their box, literally their box of their supplements, some prescription and some natural, but this box of stuff they're taking, and it's just too much. We kind of go through and weed it down and separate things out so they don't take them together, and try to narrow it down to the most important 5. And if you have to add another one, add another one. But I think we get, as a people, especially when we're trying to heal, sometimes we try too hard with too many things. So really important to keep that in mind. Even seeing that with psoriasis. So, but it's hard to get people to start taking something or stop taking something. All right. Anybody else?
Hi, Dr.
All right.
Caroline. This is Susan Shake Snyder. I'm a fairly new user to the VibraGenix, just a
Welcome.
few days.
Welcome to the
Thank you.
VibraGenix
Loving
family.
it so far. There's so much to learn.
Yep.
But I wanted to ask, what would you say kind of on a daily basis? I'm super active. I've worked out for years. I'm pretty lean. I'm like 17.5% body fat. So, for me, it's just raising my health level. Some of these things with the resonance and the chakras, I felt like I just wasn't busting through those things and keeping all that in check.
Yep.
But you kind of hit a nerve with me with all the supplements, because I kind of do take a little cupful twice a day, and I felt like I was doing the right thing.
Yeah.
You just steadily add different things based on recommendations and things you read.
Yep.
And before you know
Yep.
it, it's a meal in itself.
I know. I'm the queen of that. And being a naturopath, having a master's in nutrition, this is what we were taught to do. This is your handful
So-
at morning. This is your handful at noon.
Yeah, I know.
COVID
So
was
what
amazing.
would you say are like kind of the two things that you should be doing on a regular basis, and then maybe something that you should do like weekly, monthly, or does it really just vary based on the individual and what you're dealing with?
So from what I'm hearing, you're pretty optimized, right?
Pretty optimized. Yeah, I'm one of Jay
Okay.
Campbell's VIPs.
Yeah.
So
Yep, you're optimized. All right. So for Jay Campbell PIPs, I definitely recommend it. And this is something I know that Jay does all the time, every day. He works on chakras, all the ancient tones, and he does the TBSW with the scalar waves. He does the mind
Okay.
expansion, the intuition, all of that kind of thing. And running those scalar waves on the machine every day is the most powerful combination to get your vibration up, which is what you want to do. And then just pick two other things. If you worked out really hard, do muscle pain and injury. You'll recover much faster for the
Okay.
next day.
okay.
If it's been a hard day, use mood elevation. Whatever it is that comes up. If you get a headache, I call it my frequency medicine cabinet, whether it's the mobile unit, the accelerator, or the machine.
Okay.
If you need something, instead of trying to take an over-the-counter or a pill for it, try to find a frequency for it to bring your body back into
Okay.
resonance.
Yeah, I'm not
But-
big on taking like those kinds of pills. Like I rarely take pain reliever. I try to do something else. It's usually you're dehydrated, too much sugar,
No sugar. But there are so many frequencies for different kinds of pain in this system.
Okay.
And I originally thought, boy, if you could get rid of depression and eliminate people's pain, you could change so many people's lives in such
Mhm.
major ways. But there's a pain management program. You can just click on the part of the body. There's different
Okay.
kinds of things. I mean, there's so many different pain protocols.
Okay.
So
I
definitely
ran
use it.
through the chakra ethereal. You had done a video
Ethereal.
on it.
Yeah.
And is it weird that I was like really, really tired after doing that?
You move some energy. So once you move
Okay.
energy blocks, you won't be tired. You'll be in a calm, blissful state, especially if you're combining it with the TBSW and the scalar waves. You'll be very
Okay.
relaxed. It's like the second
Okay.
podcast I did with Jay. He'd just been on the machine
Mhm.
3 different times, running, mind expansion and all these things. And he was just so relaxed. He says, I think I'm too relaxed.
Okay. All right.
So
So
it'll
maybe
put you
I
in that.
did need that.
Absolutely. And, like I said, you can look through that list that's on the right or click on each chakra if you're in the True Resonance Pro,
Mhm.
and it'll tell you the chronic things that go along with it. Sometimes it's just an
Mhm.
emotional way of reacting or being, but it'll be in there. But I would run
Okay.
them all. You're optimized, run them all.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Anyone else?
Yes, Dr. Caroline, this is Pong. I got a question for you. So besides the preset that you guys have in the True Renaissance, is there an actual way to preset a client, with a couple settings and just have it run? Or is it manual every time you get into the screen, then you start it and then you got to go and open up a bunch of pages and then
No.
start the process?
Well, for each, so there's 3 different designs here. So Cell Tunes is first. You have to go back and reopen Cell Tunes, and for each program you start. Then we came out with True Resonance Pro, much bigger program, over 1 million lines of code, and lots more options for people. But the same thing, you can't overload the computer, especially with a program that big. So made it the same way, where you open one and then start it and go back and open one again. When we came out with the VibraGenix control panel, we decided it's a smaller program, it has a lot less options in it, right? So it doesn't have nearly as many lines of code. So we could actually program that so you can pick 5 things out of different panels. You can pick 2 on wellness, 2 on essentials. You could run a pain management. for a certain part of the body, you could pick 5 things from right there without going in and out of the program. But True Resonance Pro is so big. We can't have people go in there and choose one, then choose the next, choose the next. It's just too hard for the computer to run.
Okay, so then I guess the second question I have is there a way to do like a video output to a laptop so that way you're not standing in front of the client and changing the settings while they're on the machine? Because what I try to do is I try to open up the programs, but I notice that it closes after a few seconds when you haven't started.
2 minutes.
Yeah, so it'll close, and then obviously the way I'm running it now, maybe I'm not doing it correctly. I have the client get on the machine, I start the body vibration, and I gotta have them, okay, move one of your arms so I can go and open up True Resonance Pro, right? Do this and that. So I'm thinking, is there a better way? Can we mirror the screen? But obviously the outputs are not shown to a laptop. So that way we can be working on the laptop versus, oh, move your arms so I can do this. Let me get in to do this, right? I mean, is there a way that
Right.
we can expose that so that way we can do it
I
on
think-
laptop and just have them hold on to the bars, right?
Yeah, I don't. I'll have to think about that for a little bit. Most of the time, I'll put a client on, and they're not holding on when the machine's not even started. And I'll go through and I'll boot up their programs. And you get so fast at this after you've done it for a while. It takes very little time, and then you hit start on the main program, and you're good to go and off and running. So I don't think a lot of people would use it on a separate device, but I'll think about that.
Yeah, because if the output's available, then I can just have my laptop sitting right there, have the patients get on, start the program, and then run whatever I need to run on the side, right?
Yeah.
To get it going. Versus,
Well, I'll
oh,
certainly
wait.
ask my programmer. Like I
mean,
said,
it's-
I know people way smarter than me. People that put together these frequency formulas, that
I mean, it's just an
I'll let-
output,
I'll-
right? It's just an output that you can mirror to another laptop.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I'll
then
talk to
from
my
there,
programmer.
you're controlling that laptop with a mouse and making the functionality work while they're standing on the machine, right? Because I
Yep.
do notice that if you're not quick enough, okay, 2 minutes is the threshold, it shuts down.
Yeah, 2 minutes. And it didn't used to be that way. And what happened was, because the program is so huge and people would run their program and it wouldn't close down unless they manually closed it down, people call and say, my computer's stuttering, it's not playing. And, you do a service call and they have 17 issues or
Right.
instances of True Resonance Pro open. So you close everything down, you reboot the computer, and everything works just fine. So we made it a 2-minute timeout. I am going to change that programming wise to a 5-minute timeout so people have a little bit more time to look around. Well, I know your time is valuable and we're right at an hour. Definitely the info@VibraGenix.com. If you have any other questions, or go ahead and give us a call. If you have something for me personally, go ahead and let me know. And protocol wise, I'd be your girl, but we'll get back to you as soon as we can. And we'll have this posted soon.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.